Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Ahmad Afan bin Binyamin with metric number 285623. Activity-based costing (ABC) is a costing method which calculates cost of each product and services a company provide to the customer, calculating direct and indirect cost. The direct cost is direct material, meanwhile the indirect cost is rent and utilities. These are those examples. We could say this costing system could produce more accuracy in calculating the costing of product and services of a company, and this could lead to higher accuracy in calculating a product which is a unit value. This system makes a person to understand more about cost overhead and cost driver, and this lead to person understand whether they're making a expensive spend and a non-necessary spend to make a product to a customer. And this make the management department to understand more and make wiser decision on what they should spend really to create a product for their business. ABC costing system benefit in a way that it create a challenging environment for the operating cost department to create and allocate the current cost for creating a product and eliminating the non-necessary expenses that they make for their business. As I said, the ABC system is benefit to the way that it could increase the profit for the company. When a person eliminate a non-necessary expenses and only focus on expense and expenditure that only necessary for creating a product or services, a company could gain more profit, and this could make sure they create a better quality product and quality service, which could lead satisfy the customer as well and gain higher profit. Although the fact that the ABC costing system was used in early day as well, but it is clearly defined in the year 1987 by Robert S. Kaplan and W. Burns in the book that they published, Accounting and Management, a Field Study Perspective. And now, we're moving on to history related to ABC system. Before there was ABC system, there was cost accounting. Cost accounting work well for item or services based businesses to generate of production of a item or completion of a service. Internal costing method were simple at the time because of the shortcoming of the simple cost approach. Several cost accounting methods have developed over time. After some time, cost accounting made some problem arise. Manufacturing and processing company find it is difficult to use cost accounting because tracking the operation was very difficult for them. After that, ABC system was developed in 1917 and 1918 because manager needed more accurate way to check revenue and expenses and identify non-financial factor for the amount financial statement and record show. Because overhead has several factors such as property taxes, managerial salary and utility, ABC came about. ABC allows for more cost driver than do the conventional costing system. Ultimately, ABC system has helped a lot to simplify work and save time compared to cost accounting. I would like to give some advantages to finish my presentation. Traditional method of cost accounting do not take into account some of the costs associated with a product or service, which limit management ability to accurately price the product and gauge production level, while ABC takes into account the production and non-production activity that go into creation of a product. It separates the cost of production from the cost of administration, allowing for more accurate picture of the true cost of creating a product based on actual production cost. So right now I will move to next presentation. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Farazia Azim binti Muhammad Shukri. My metric number is 288292. I'm going to present the first phase of activity-based costing, ABC, history and evaluation. In the early 1960s, General Electric, GE Finance and accounting people attempt to improve the usefulness of accounting information in controlling ever-increasing indirect costs. The GE staff note that indirect costs are often the result of upstream decisions and that are made long before the costs are actually incurred. For example, engineering design and change order often result in significant increase in parts ordering, machine changeover, retooling, and part stocking. In addition, the engineering department was never informed of the consequences their action had on the other part of the organization. GE's works in this area could be considered what we call now activity-based costing. The concept of activity-based costing has already been presented in studies by Staubus and Schilling Law. But these works have not directly led to a series of specific studies or the spread of the activity approach in business practice. Studies that effectively raised the debate in this area and led to studies on the topic were published only at the end of the 80s. When it was introduced, the model had no name and subsequently became known as transaction costing. The term activity-based costing began to be used in June 1988 by Johnson, and towards the end of 1989, it was shortened to the acronym ABC, Accounting-Based Costing. Evaluation that can be described using stage featuring various objects of analysis. The studies and application of the model that concern the first stage focus attention on the need to go beyond the limit of traditional methodologies of costing, divided into three phases characterized by different levels regarding systematic approach of the ABC model. The first corresponds to the non-formal introductory phase of the method, is which models are drawn up characterized by a varied base for indirect cost imputation, and they are not as yet called activity-based costing. Activity-based costing evaluation and formally present in theoretical studies and application. In this phase, the model was applied on ad hoc basis without reference to a definite system structure. A few business consultant and manufacturing companies accomplished in the development of ABC in the 1970s and early 1980s. Their impetus was to improve product cost information to assist pricing and product mix decision. Knowledge of the historical development of activity-based costing is important in order to clearly understand what ABC analysis was originally intended to accomplish. ABC was defined in the late 1980s by Kaplan and Bruns. There were some cases where ABC principles were adopted since the 1930s. This adoption was a result of the necessity to have more sophisticated costing system in each of these cases for different reasons. The system with ABC characteristics were just considered as sophisticated traditional system and were used for formal financial purpose. The ABC method does this by assigning factory and corporate overhead, as well as other indirect resource costs to activity categories. Then, an assessment is made as how much overhead each product line, and service consume. In this way, according to Professor Kaplan, in an article he wrote for the CPA Journal in 1990, ABC offers management accurate information by delineating support costs, tracing them to individual product and product lines.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nurfatisha Zwani binti Majulaini, metric number 284618. I will explain about evolution of activity-based costing system from 1990s until 1999s. According to Gilligan's 1990, the cost driver use is defined as the most important component of activity-based costing. Cost drivers are the focus that determine the number of activities that will be consumed by a given product. Examples of cost drivers include machine hours, size, complexity, type, and any other product attribute that can determine its cost. This method is utilized in the allocation of overhead expense in managerial accounting. Next, according to Cooper and Kaplan's 1991, activity-based costing is more commonly used in core management accounting areas related to the profitability. Harvard Business Review article called for increased use of ABC to identify the true cost of processes and products so that companies can make some decisions related to the profitability and expense of the products they produce. ABC is useful in product pricing and cost. Next, according to Shields 1995, a particular set of behavior and organizational variables could significantly influence ABC success. Technical variables do not justify the level of success. Next, according to Innes and Mitchell 1997, the later development of ABC has involved many service sector applications. ABC is used in core management accounting areas such as decision-making, control and performance measurement of service firms. Lastly, according to Brown, Meering and Gard 1999, the government sector adopts ABC because the competitive pressures, availability of advanced technology and the availability of wide applications. There is a positive relationship between ABC evolution and the success of the government activities. ABC would enable the government agencies to make rational decisions, plan the budget, establish fees, and increase the production.
Next, my name is Siti Asha binti Amiruddin. My metric number is 287562 and I will present about phase 3, which is started implementation from 2000 until now. In phase 3, it is a new orientation towards process management rather than individually concept activities in order to keep up with the pace of environmental change. The aim of the model in this space is to support the firm competitive strategy through the chain of value and thus to highlight the contribution in terms of value creation of both the internal activities and those which are upstream and downstream for the organization. The information for strategic planning is provided in the third stage models, which extend the analysis beyond the internal activities to also include those external to the business unit. This system produced in this phase trace the relation between activities and process, and then between process and business unit as a focus of attention. In this third stage, new use of ABC have appeared that increase the value derived from the tool, which are shared service pricing model for IT and other corporate function to support service legal agreement with business unit, and target costing for product design optimization of logistic supply chain. And the last one is IT investment and minimization of the total cost of ownership of equipment and other assets. The aim of the model in this space is to support the firm competitive strategy through the chain of value and thus to highlight the contribution in terms of value creation of both the internal activities and those which are upstream and downstream for the organization. The information for strategic planning is provided in the third stage models, which extend the analysis beyond the internal activities to also include those external to the business unit. This system produced in this phase trace the relation between activities and process, and then between process and business unit as a focus of attention. The implementation of ABC model as an integral component of business performance management solution is distinctive to several stages. And the first one is profitability management. New profitability management tools depend upon ABC information to increase analytic power and to improve their effectiveness. Second is performance measurement. ABC is an important source of performance measure in organization that integrate ABC with performance management. In the process dimension of scorecard, activity costs provide the focal point for target setting and the scoring of goal around process performance. Number 3 is financial planning. From the financial planning point of view, ABC models combine with forecasting and analytic technique to support fact-based scenario develop support the formulation of long-term plan and budget consistent with the optimization of process performance. Next, ABC today also play an important role in human capital management. It is an effective tool to analyze high cost process and improvement measure to free up resource that may be redeployed to satisfy critical need. ABC can be used to forecast the transaction level of activities, which is then used to forecast the amount of resource used to perform the new level of activities. It also can be used to perform statistical forecasting to accurately determine the number of people required to support targeted product, customer, channels, and so on. Number 5 is sustainability. Nowadays, some organizations are using ABC to relate sustainability with profitability. For example, they use the model to measure and report the use of carbon dioxide alongside cost and tracking source of carbon to the resource that consume carbon.